I knew there had to be something big at this farm. I can't believe we caught that on video. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So last week, as many of you guys know, I declared war on the raccoons, and I spent all week trying to trap the culprit that was responsible for the death of my hooded parrot. Now, if you haven't seen the previous video, then this one might not make too much sense. So I'm gonna go ahead and work my YouTube magic and put the link somewhere up here for you guys. Go watch that one, and then this video might make a little bit more sense to you. Now, unfortunately, I was only able to capture one raccoon the entire week. It almost seemed like I kept getting outsmarted every single time. The raccoons would set off the live trap, but none of them would fall inside. So I ordered something that they couldn't escape from, the dog-proof traps. Or at least that was the plan until life threw a curveball at me. And that is that in Florida, foothold traps are illegal. Well, they're not illegal, but you need special permits, and we don't have those. So we have to stick to the live trap. But that's okay. I have a surprise for these raccoons, and that is that I've ordered some game troll cameras. Once we learn how it is that they're setting off these traps and not getting caught, we'll be able to fix this little problem and start catching more of them. God, today's cold, man. We woke up and temps are in the low 50s, and it's about to get much worse. Overnight, we're expected to drop into the low 30s. It's super windy. We're here at the farm today. I have to feed the parrots, make sure that they're very well fed. Not that I don't feed them good on other days, but we got to make sure that today they're extremely well fed so that they can make it through these cold temperatures at night. We also have to check the live trap. I set it up yesterday, so hopefully there's something in there. We got one, guys. We got one. There's one in the live trap, or at least it's set off. I don't hear anything. Let's see. Yep, we got one. We got one in here, guys. Now listen, don't let that cute little face fool you. These guys are predators. If given a chance, he will take and eat every single bird on this property. Now look, I can't say for a fact that these raccoons that we've caught up to this point are the ones responsible for the deaths of that young hooded or any of the other birds that have died in this farm. But what I can tell you is that they're lingering around this aviary and they're up to no good. If given the chance, they're gonna take whatever they can get. So I'd rather be proactive and get rid of them now before I lose any other birds. Now let me show you guys what happens when the population of these raccoons goes unchecked. This is a female plumhead parakeet, and she was born last year. She's around 1 year old. When she first fledged the nest, she landed at the bottom of the cage, and overnight, a raccoon managed to grab both of her feet and take them from underneath her. Now, she survives because obviously she's in captivity and I feed her. In the wild, this bird would have eventually ended up dying. Now, it's a shame to see this beautiful female have lost both of her feet. Unfortunately, she will not be able to be introduced into any of my breeding programs, but obviously I keep her alive. She has a cage of her own and I try to keep her as comfortable as possible. But it hurts to see that the potential of this hen was taken away. And this is exactly why I try to prevent this by obviously getting rid of some of these raccoons that are lingering around this aviary, especially now during this time of the year when I plan on having chicks in every single one of these nest boxes. And eventually, once they fledge, I would hate for any of them to have to suffer the same consequences as this female plumhead. Whew, it is cold today. I think I speak for all Floridians when I say we do not approve of this weather. It's way too cold. We might as well be in Canada, eh? Eh? They say eh, right? Never mind. I'm here at the farm. I'm gonna feed the parrots early morning. I got some fresh fruits for them. On cold days like today, I like to give them fresh fruits because it just replenishes all that energy that they lost throughout the night trying to stay warm. Look at this. Look at the frost that we have on the ground. It's cold today. I'm not gonna lie, I really hope that we don't have any raccoons in here. Hopefully we didn't catch anything overnight. It's way too cold. I don't wanna have to deal with this. I see the live trap is empty, but check this out, guys. I can't believe it. This trap has been torn up. It is upside down. I have no idea what could have caused this, but it must have been big. I can't wait to get these game troll cameras so I can set them up and see exactly who is doing this to my traps. The birds have made it through another cold night. Everybody's alive and well. They got their fresh fruits. So they should start to get all their energies back up with all that sugar from the fruits. I'm gonna go ahead and head home, get me a cold cup of coffee. A cold cup of coffee. It's so cold out here, I can't even think straight. My hands are freezing, by the way. I'm gonna get a warm cup of coffee, hot cup of coffee, whatever you call it, and warm up. All right, guys, well, today's the day. The Game Show cameras are here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set them up. Let's see how good these things work. They were cheap. I got them off of Amazon, 2 of them. I think I paid like 70 bucks. And it says right there, made in China. Great people, wonderful people. So let's see how well these things work, because every time that I've bought something cheap, it often backfires on me. So hopefully they work. We got to go check the traps, see if we caught anything in there. So let's head over there, and then I'll come back and I'll get these things all set up and mounted to see if we were able to catch any footage overnight. Both of the small traps have been set off, the big trap and the small trap. Let's see what we got in here. Ay, ay, ay. We caught a squirrel. And over here, we caught another squirrel. Okay, so we caught 2 little fuzzy tails in the traps today. Now this isn't my target species. I'm not after squirrels. I'm after the raccoons and anything else that's big enough that can hurt these birds, rats, raccoons, and so on. I'm gonna go ahead and let these guys go. They do cause damage here because they like to come at the top of these feeders, which I kind of hate that I built them on the outer portion. I wish I would have done it on the inside part of the cage, but I didn't know this beforehand. So I caught squirrels many times here where they're standing on top of these feeders and they're shoving their little hands in here, eating up all the seed, and obviously causing me a bit of money because they're taking my seeds. But I don't think they cause too much damage, so I'm not worried about them. I'm gonna let them go. We'll reset the traps and put up the trail cams to see what we catch overnight. Don't poop on me, guys. The first Game Show camera, I'm gonna set it up on this post right here, aiming towards the biggest trap that I have, which I've set up on the inside of this enclosure. Now the second one's gonna be out here. It's gonna aim towards the aviary also, but it's gonna be catching whatever's been trailing on the outer portion of this enclosure. Hopefully, we're able to catch something passing through this section right here. Let's see. Trap has been set off. Game Show cameras are there, so I'm sure we caught whatever fell in here. Let's see what we have. Look at that. We got ourselves a big fat rat. Let's get rid of this guy. By the way, this one over here, something set it off, but there's nothing inside. So I'm thinking whatever set it off was small enough to get out through that mesh. But we do have that trail camera out there, and that one hopefully caught whatever set this trap off. So what I'm gonna do now is I have to leave. I've fed everybody. That mouse that we caught in this trap right here, I'm gonna go ahead and set them in the outer perimeter of the enclosure in front of the Game Show camera that we have up there tied up to that tree, with the hopes that maybe something comes in at night to grab that easy meal and we're able to catch something bigger, because I have a feeling that we have something out here that is much bigger than raccoons, and I want to know what it is. So on day number 5, when I came back to the farm, I noticed that the big trap was set off and we caught another squirrel. Now this guy was released. The small trap had been set off, but there was nothing inside. And much to my surprise, the small rat that I left on the outer perimeter was gone. So hopefully our Game Show camera caught whatever took it. And there it was, guys. I couldn't believe it when I saw this footage, but we have a bobcat. Now I knew there had to be something big on this farm. I just didn't expect it to be this. On day number 6, both of the traps have been set off once again, and we managed to catch 2 rats, one in the big trap, one in the small trap. So let's take a look at our game trail cameras to see if we can spot the bobcat coming in. And once again, overnight, we were able to catch the bobcat coming in, taking a look at these traps and the rats that were caught in them. Now, this is starting to make a little bit more sense day by day, and it's all thanks to these game trail cameras. Now I understand why sometimes I would get to the farm and my traps are completely torn apart and opened up. I was thinking that maybe it was a raccoon that was managing to escape, but the reality is that maybe, just maybe, this bobcat is smart enough to open these traps and get the rats that have been falling in. Hopefully we're able to catch that on camera. Then on day number 7, the last day of trapping for this video, I get here, the big trap has been set off, nothing inside of it, and my small trap is on its side. And hopefully we've caught some footage of what may have caused this trap to tip over just like this. So let's take a look at this footage and see what it shows. Now you're going to notice that the squirrel is sitting outside of this trap. Now I don't catch exactly when he goes in, but he eventually makes his way in and gets trapped in here. You can see that I've also left a small rat on the outer perimeter once again to see if I can entice the bobcat to come in. And a little bit later, boom, he pops up. He's very attentive to the squirrel, and what I'm noticing is that he's showing up earlier than usual. Lately, he's been showing up around 2, 3 in the morning, but this time around, he got here very late in the day before lights out. Eventually, he ends up taking that small little rat, but decides to come straight back for the squirrel that's inside of this trap. And he is very persistent. He wants to get that squirrel, and he's not sure exactly how he's going to do so, but he's not going to give up. And after a while of tampering around with the trap, figuring out how it worked, he was able to flip it on its side, and one of the latches for the locks on one of the doors opened up. The squirrel tried to make a run for it, but obviously that bobcat was way too quick and was able to catch it. By the end of day 7, everything finally had clicked. When I first started trapping, I thought I was dealing with rats, raccoons, maybe the occasional opportunistic predator. Small problems, annoying problems, problems I thought I understood. But then the trail cameras went up, and that's when the story changed. What showed up wasn't just another nighttime scavenger. It was bigger, smarter, quiet, a bobcat. And suddenly, all the pieces started falling into place. He wasn't here for the parrots, at least not directly. The cages did their job. Steel and wire kept my birds just out of reach. But what was drawing him in were the rats, the squirrels, the easy meals caught in the traps. On the final night, I watched him flip a trap like it was nothing and kill a squirrel that had fallen in earlier that day. Calm, efficient, like he'd done it hundreds of times before. And that's when reality hit me. This is why I've lost baby piglets. This is why the baby goats kept disappearing. This is why the geese were wiped out almost completely. It wasn't random. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't just farm life. It was a predator that had been moving through this place unseen, unchecked, taking whatever it wanted, anything that wasn't locked behind wire and steel. The parrots survived because they were protected. Everything else was at his mercy. So this week wasn't just about trapping rats or raccoons anymore. It was about understanding what really happened out here after dark. Because once you see it, once the cameras show you the truth, you can't unsee it. And this is only the beginning.